You wake up, not because of a sound, not because of a dream, but because something faint, something persistent stirs you. You check the clock, 3 a.m. It's always that time. The air feels thick, the room silent, as if the world is holding its breath. You're not afraid, but your heart beats slower, as if it's listening in your place. And then, a question rises from somewhere inside you. Who's calling me? No answer comes, but the silence itself is the call. You're not the only one who's ever woken up at this hour. Many, from the deeply faithful to the devoutly skeptical, have experienced it. Some say they feel awakened by light, others, by darkness. A strange truth. Most don't wake up for any clear reason. And afterward, they can't fall back asleep. Why 3 a.m.? In Western theology, it's called the devil's hour, opposite of 3 p.m. The hour of Christ's death. In folklore, it's when the spiritual veil is thinnest. And in neuroscience, it's the dip in dopamine and serotonin, when emotions rise and consciousness opens. But maybe, at 3 a.m., it's your own soul speaking. A man named Nathan shares, I used to be an atheist, but I started waking at 3 a.m. for 2 weeks straight. No nightmares, no dreams, just one question echoing in my head. Are you ready? Nathan documented each night, sensations, sounds, heartbeats. On the 9th night, he heard another phrase, go outside. He stepped onto his balcony. No angelic light, no visions, just a vast sky full of stars. And a quiet feeling of being seen. Elena, a woman across the world, also woke at the same hour. But she was not met by peace. I felt something standing in the room. No shape, no movement, but it was there, waiting for me to speak. One night, she awoke breathless. On her phone, she found a note, typed. Though she didn't remember typing it. You've been chosen, and you have seen. So, what is it that's calling us? A soul? An angel? A demon? Or, the forgotten part of ourselves, finally knocking? Not all calls are kind. Not all shapes come from the shadows. But not all light is true either. The question is not, who's knocking? It's, what will you let in? You think you just happened to wake? Or is it time to listen? Because tonight, if you wake, and feel something waiting in the silence, it's no longer coincidence. It's an invitation. In the night, there are doors that don't need hinges. They don't open with hands, but with a feeling, a chill, a shiver, a sudden question. At 3 a.m., you cross into a middle ground, between matter and spirit, between unconsciousness and clarity. Neuroscientists confirm, between 3 and 4 a.m., our brains enter their lowest hormonal state. Physical energy wanes, logic centers rest, and the subconscious speaks, which means, what you feel, sense, or glimpse at that hour, may not be hallucination. It might be the truth hidden beneath your waking self. A woman named Clara says, I kept waking up then. Every time, I saw a shadow at the foot of the bed. It never moved, never spoke, but I knew, it saw me. No one else in the house saw it. But the next morning, all the lights in her home were off. And on the table, a wilted flower she hadn't placed. Some called it a demon. Others said it was negative energy. But someone else told her, maybe that's the part of you you've forgotten, returning in a form you'd finally notice. Because the soul doesn't speak in words. It speaks in symbols. Mateo, a former fortune teller from Guatemala, recalls being choked awake. In the mirror behind him, golden eyes stared. The voice said, you can see what's to come, but never reveal how you know. From then on, Mateo predicted 3 missing person cases. Each time he spoke, he forgot something vital, his mother's name, his daughter's face, his own voice. Knowing doesn't make you stronger. Mateo says, it just makes you despair sooner than others. I fear 3 a.m. Not because of shadows, but because at that hour, I hear myself talking to something that isn't me. Waking at 3 a.m. might be biology. Or, it might be soul frequency, syncing with something beyond. And the real question is, what are you syncing with? A woman named Anika, living in Kyiv, Ukraine, began having the same dream at 3 a.m. every night in January 2022. I stood in a marketplace. Everyone was smiling, peaceful. Then, an explosion from above. Everything shattered. I screamed, but no one heard. They kept smiling. They didn't know what was coming. She woke up, sweating. The next night, the same dream. On the 7th night, she heard a voice. Leave. When morning comes, go. She left Kyiv with her daughter. Despite her husband's protests. 3 weeks later, the war began. Where did that warning come from? No one knows. But it saved her life. Some call it intuition. Others say it was an angel. But some believe, maybe it was your future self, whispering backward. Once, a priest shared. A woman woke at 3 a.m. crying. She said, "He's going. I can feel it. I can't hold him anymore." 30 minutes later, her husband died in the hospital. Sometimes, waking at 3 a.m. isn't to see something new, but to say goodbye. To someone, to yourself, to a chapter quietly ending. The greatest mystery isn't, who is calling? It's, will we answer? Because if you ignore it, the voice grows faint, distant, quiet, and one day, you'll wake again at 3 a.m. and feel nothing. No chill, no presence, no pull, just a blank, empty silence. And that means, your soul has stopped knocking. You wake again. You've lost count now. You don't feel fear, but neither do you feel peace. Just hollow. Like you've missed something important, something that had been standing right there, waiting for you to see it. No voices, no shadows, no lights flickering, but in your chest, a question. Was someone trying to reach me? Not from outside, but from within. Among the hundreds who report waking at 3 a.m., one thing unites them. They didn't hear a knock on the door. They felt a knock inside their soul. Not a demon, not a spirit, but a version of themselves they had buried. The self that was once full of wonder. The child that once believed. The soul that once whispered, "I'm still here. Why have you stopped listening?" A soul doesn't die, but it can fall silent. We live for work, for survival, for appearances. We wear masks so often. We forget our own face. But every night, when the world grows still, your soul stands up in the quiet. Hoping, tonight, maybe you'll notice me. 3 a.m. isn't when something comes for you. It's when you finally have nothing left in your hands. And must face the thing you dropped years ago. Yourself. Spiritual awakenings begin with restlessness. You think anxiety is a flaw? Maybe. Or maybe it's your soul's fire alarm, ringing because you're in the wrong room of your life. 3 a.m. is not a sleep disorder. It's the gentlest wake-up call for the deepest return. You're waking up to start over. Maybe you're hurting. Maybe you've lost something. Maybe life feels like it has no center anymore. But if you wake up tonight, and something whispers, "Don't quit. Don't give in. Don't believe the darkness is all that's left," then it's not fear. It's not madness. It's you, calling yourself home. Signs the voice is real. It doesn't command. It doesn't bribe. It reminds of the joy you buried, of the grace you forgot, of who you were before the world named you. What happens if you turn away? The voice won't punish you. It will simply withdraw. And you'll go on. You'll smile. You'll achieve. You'll appear fine. But someday, in a quiet room, you'll feel the chill and realize, something inside me died, and I let it happen when I stopped listening. The scariest thing isn't ghosts. It's living without your own voice. That's the moment you wake at 3 a.m. and feel nothing. No fear. No hope. Just silence. Because your soul has stopped knocking. So if you wake tonight, again, what will you do? Will you pray? Will you listen? Will you cry? Or will you simply place your hand over your heart and whisper? Is it me? The last breath of truth. Maybe it's a demon. Maybe it's God. Maybe it's just the wind through the cracks of your life. But maybe it's your own soul, screaming not to be forgotten. If you hear the call, don't delay. Because 3 a.m. lasts only a moment. But your soul will live or die depending on whether you answered, or rolled over and went back to sleep.